Hum your car. Make it smart and safe. How? With the new Hum device by Verizon. You can rest assured you're never alone. Flat tire? Lost? Accident? For $10 a month, Hum by Verizon has you covered. And I will come to you in Marion County to install the Hum for free. Time to call me at 352-528-0020. Are you ready to hum along? Call 352-528-0020.
You're getting ready to move and you work hard. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. You need pros. Trained professional moving experts to do the heavy lifting for you. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. They care about your things as much as you do, and they do it fast and right. That's why you call Two Men in a Truck, 352-289-0666. Visit twomeninatruck.com and get moving.
2 Men in a Truck.
Buying and selling? Then you know about OcalaForSale.com, Marion County's internet marketplace. But there's something you might not know. I'm Michael Warren, president of USA for Sale. We created Ocala for Sale in 1998 with a passion to connect buyers and sellers and to help local businesses reach shoppers online. On Ocala for Sale, you're just a click away from thousands of deals for real estate, rentals, cars, furniture, appliances, horses, pets, and more. Looking for a job? Our Help Wanted section is booming. Shopping the villages and beyond? Now you'll find great deals on villages for sale, as well as our new statewide classified, Florida for Sale. Log on today and post your free classified. You'll reach thousands of shoppers who check our listings every day. Are you a business looking to get a corner on the internet marketplace? USA for Sale can help you reach your target audience in Ocala, the villages, and statewide. There's no better place to reach shoppers than right where they shop. Let us show you how. Learn more by calling 352-629-1663 or visit us online at usaforsale.com.
In the Garden with Carol Ann Baldwin. Every Tuesday morning she joins us here on WOCA The Source, and it's Christmas week, Carol Ann.
It is.
I like to call it right now. It's not just because it's Christmas week, but this is because it's first day of winter was yesterday.
It was.
And we're in that silly season where you don't know whether it's going to be 50 degrees, 80 degrees, 30 degrees, 50 degrees, 90 degrees.
You get all four seasons in the day.
In one day.
In the whole day. And you repeat two of them. You start the morning with the winter.
And you end the evening
and you
with
end
the winter.
with the winter again. Yeah.
And you
or
got
at least
spring,
a fall.
Spring, summer, and fall are all in there.
All tucked in there. That summer doesn't last very long.
No,
so
summer
I'd say
lasts
it's more
from about,
like spring. Yeah,
summer lasts from about 2:30 to 4.
Maybe, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it depends on if the wind's blowing or if it's cloudy.
It does. It
Yeah,
does.
it
But
does.
like today, it's supposed to be 72. Tomorrow, it's supposed to be 77 degrees.
Yeah,
is the high.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
And
any
then
day.
Christmas Day, it's supposed to be 56.
Right. Yeah, with chance
with chance of frost
for those 3 nights. I think it is. It's like
Friday, Saturday. Yeah.
Wow.
But that's Florida weather.
It is. It's just, and maybe that's why I hate winter so much.
My question is though, if we think it's screwed up,
yeah. Oh, what does
what
our
do plants think?
Oh, well, that's it. They can't acclimate. The only good thing is that lately we've been cool. We have not taken those. I mean, when they're saying it's going to 77, that'll probably last for 2.5 hours, 3 hours.
Yeah, we have had it where it goes, one day it's 56 and 34, and then 2 days later it's 88 and 68.
Yeah, this year we're not hitting that, though. We have stayed cooler, so the plants are acclimating a little more. Now, your tropicals are always going to be tropical. They're always going to be the ones that are going to go, hey, what the hey? It's cold.
Anything
give me a blanket.
below 80 degrees,
give me
what's going
a
on?
blanket. Give me a blanket. No, I don't know. The hibiscus are like gorgeous right now because the temperatures are staying a little more even. I think the humidity's down a little. Even though they're tropical with our little lowered humidity, they just seem to be blooming like crazy. But yeah, I mean, the plants this year, I believe they're getting a little bit of a chance to acclimate, which is a good thing, because I really think this is just now, the first full day of winter is today.
Right.
People
forget, even though yesterday was the first day of winter.
Today is the full 24 hours of winter. But before that, we've already had 2 to 3 frosts.
Certainly. We've had one day where it was 29 degrees.
Yes. So depending on where you're at, we had 3 fall frosts. Winter's just starting. This year, it's
2020.
It's 2020, and January it can drink. It's 21.
And,
it turns
and the
21.
thing is, we've had really the last 3 or 4 winters have been kind of mild.
Very, very easy. We've had where we've had a week or 2 weeks of bad weather, and everybody goes, "Oh my God, it's such a horrible winter." Not really, This year, I have a feeling it's going to be a rough one, with already having 3 frosts. I see some hard freezes this year, or extended cold periods. Mm-hmm. So keep the frost blankets handy. Make sure the landscape's not going without water. Don't overwater it, but make sure it's not going without water. That brings
up a very good point. Sunday night, and where I was in the northern end of town.
It rained.
I don't know if it was everywhere, but in the northern end of town, it didn't just rain.
It rained hard.
It came a gully wash.
Yeah.
So I didn't water my citrus trees yesterday.
Didn't need
at
to.
all.
Yeah, didn't need to.
And I'm going to water them this afternoon when I go home to let the dogs out after the show.
Go ahead and give them.
I'll give them a little drink after. But I didn't water them at all yesterday.
Right.
Because it had rained so hard Sunday night after the sun went down.
Right.
Which is a big deal. Because when it rains and the sun's up, the sun can help evaporate some of that rain.
But which can be beneficial.
Right.
Actually, most people think, well, if you water at night, it's better because it stays there. But you really want foliage to dry before the sun goes down. We can't control when it rains after 5 o'clock in the afternoon, no matter what time of year, foliage is going to stay wet throughout the night, and that's when you end up with some fungal problems. Not a big issue with the citrus, though, because they'll dry off. But everything else, we had a good rain, and usually our cold fronts are ushered in with rain. And they have been, and a decent amount this time.
Christmas Eve, going into Christmas morning, is going to be a rainstorm.
Going to be rain. Yep, going to be rain. So we shouldn't need to turn on that irrigation system. If you have some newly planted things like you're doing, you'll go out and you'll water them. You're at every 3 or 4 days now of going out and giving them a nice little drink. But if we're getting rain, everything's okay. You can probably turn that irrigation system back off like we did in the summer, and pay attention. Just turn it on if we're going a 10-day stretch without any rain. Then flip the irrigation on. We're going to get cold. You don't want to water that morning. If you can, you want to water a few days before so that the roots,
warm up
so that it is. Got water into the plant, not just in the dirt, and that helps to keep the plants warmer. And I know
it seems so counterproductive.
It does,
warmer,
but it does. It actually does. That moisture does seem to hold a little bit of the heat, and especially I have containerized. Most everything that I protect is all containerized, so I gather it all up. And it's all in one cluster. They're all shoved together. Guess what? You guys are going to be friends this winter.
Yeah.
You're going to be real close friends, because I don't have time to push you back in and out, unless we're going to get a long stretch. And the blankets right there, I can bundle it around the pots, as well as up and over, and using something to keep it from laying on the plant material. Wherever my frost blanket touched my hibiscus, yes, I have burnt leaves.
Right, of course, because the blanket gets cold.
Because it gets cold on that area, and what little bit of moisture might be trapped in there is going to burn.
You talk about shutting off your irrigation system.
Yeah.
This morning I came out, and heavy fog, heavy dew.
Yes.
To the point where there were water droplets on my grass.
Yes. Yeah.
If it's like that, that's another time I don't need to.
Yeah, you don't
that's
really.
Water.
You know that there's enough moisture in the air that the plants are not stressing, because it's just all. Yeah, my car was covered in fog. Yeah, was all steamed up.
My trees, I literally
with drippy water on.
Because I wanted to talk to you about this morning, see if it was enough. I shook one of the
Oh,
Crepe
yeah, yeah.
Myrtles
Oh, yeah.
right near the house, and it rained.
Yeah.
And that was strictly from the fog and the dew.
And the moisture. Yeah, it's just what's in the air, and that's plenty. And especially this time of year, here in the winter months, whatever water management. I have a well, so the water management
St.
district
John's
stuff.
River.
Yeah, Swift Mud. We're down to one time a week to water anyway, and even the university says 7 to 10 days, putting a decent amount of water down, that 3/4 of an inch of water, that one time every 7 to 10 days is enough. Well, if we get rain this year, we're getting a cold front every 7 to 10 days,
You don't
and
have
it's
to
coming
water.
with water.
Right.
So we can turn it off. Just watch. If they call hard freeze, you may be
Water.
turning your
Right.
dripper, your faucet on to drip.
Right. Let's go to the phone lines. Hi, caller. You're on with Carol Ann Baldwin in the garden.
Okay, hello guys.
Hey, how you doing, Hugh?
Okay, we had over an inch of rain over here on the northeast side of Ocala, where I'm living now, and like Tom said, it came down pretty good there for a while, but kind of reminded me of the summertime. But no thunder or lightning though. It was
Nope.
just a heavy rain.
Nope.
What I want to know today is ask these people that have these orange orchards. They're always looking for cooler weather to sweeten the fruit.
Yeah.
What does the cool weather? How does that sweeten the fruit? And we're talking cool weather. How cool before it gets to be damaging?
Oh, to damage the fruit takes below like 28 degrees for hours. For like 6 hours at a time. So most of the time, citrus does fine for us, unless we get those really, really hard, when they say hard freeze, that's what damages. And that's when I tell people to harvest their fruit. I'm not sure exactly what happens on the molecular level, but it's always, your citrus always seems sweeter, at least after that first frost. You just need that first frost to sort of really sweeten that fruit up. I don't know if it just boosts the sugar productions because the tree is into a...
Producing sugar produces heat.
Right.
When
So
you
that's
produce sugar,
you're
produce
producing
heat.
BTUs,
Right.
yeah. So I think that's probably what it is. But we even say that with greens, with cabbage, collards, all that kind of stuff also seems to taste just a little better if it's had some frost on it. It's got to be that.
Would it be fair to say that the orchards that are further north in Florida that do get the frost and the cooler weather, the oranges are better than, let's say, the orchards that are further down south that might not experience the frost or cool weather?
They grow a different variety of fruit, and there's not too many orange groves.
They used to go all the way to Lake City, but they don't anymore.
They used to go as far as Savannah.
I know. We had them in Jacksonville, all around Jacksonville.
But below from Ocala, to find any ones of any size even in Ocala anymore or Marion County area is hard. It's looking
hard
at
in Lake County.
Right.
We were driving to Disney
it
to
used
go
to
see
be
the
go down the
lights.
turnpike and
It was
find
orange
them
groves
all,
everywhere, and now it's houses.
Yes.
3 feet apart.
Yeah. Shopping centers. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, most all the citrus is further south. Now, actually, after the 83-84 storm, when a lot of the groves really took a bad hit up here, most of them either abandoned and went down. So you don't really have to. You got some small mom and pop places that are still up here.
There's a rather large orange grove in between Useless and Umatilla.
Okay.
Useless and Umatilla.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big orange grove on the back road. If you go to back roads, there's probably, and I say big orange grove, it's probably 20, 25 acres.
Right.
Which isn't
It's
that
a
big,
mom and pop.
but
It's a mom and pop kind of place.
right,
Yeah. So yeah, they.
Yeah.
And they have the one up in Citra.
Okay. Yeah.
The neighbor behind me's got a nice little orange tree. And I asked for my permission. Oh yeah, help yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, I never tasted such a wonderful sweet orange. I mean, it was really great.
And it does depend on the variety. I mean, there are juice oranges, there are eating oranges. Many people, especially folks from up north, are very familiar with the navel orange. See, and my personal favorite are your tangerines and tangelos. They have more juice, they're sweeter, they're easier to peel. Navel oranges is what they shipped up north.
Yeah.
And I really didn't like them.
I always get a kick once in a while when I go to the store and pick out oranges and they say they're from California.
Yeah.
What the heck? We have enough of them here.
I know. Well, that's because a lot of the groves in Florida are are smaller now and are further south. We have a lot less in citrus than what we ever have. I think we probably do, I don't know, maybe some of the other specialty type fruits, or maybe ours are contracted in a different way. I'm not real sure how ours are.
We're a big juice.
We are big,
state.
yeah.
Big
We're a
juice.
big juice state here, where it's co-ops, where they, Florida. What do they call it? Florida Natural,
Right.
Where that's a co-op.
Right.
Between all and then you've got the Tropicana plant right down there in Leesburg.
Yep. Thanks you for the call. Appreciate it.
Okay, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Merry
Okay,
Christmas
thank
to you too.
Merry Christmas
Yep.
to you. Yeah, a lot of when you see the California navels and everything,
I can leave them there.
I remember
need them.
the navel oranges were a big deal for my cousins and all that.
Because they came,
up in New Jersey, big deal, huge deal.
Yeah.
And I was like, we don't even have those hardly in Florida.
We don't like them.
I had a
they were
tangerine
shipped
tree in
because they were
Jacksonville.
big.
Yeah.
Navel oranges were massive, the size of softball or the size of a small grapefruit.
They were like, "How could you eat these? They have they don't have seed. How do you eat these oranges? We'd bring oranges from Florida. How do you eat these? They got seeds in them." I go,
Yeah.
"How do you eat that when it doesn't have seeds in it? It doesn't taste the same."
It doesn't have that. Yeah,
We had a tangerine tree in Jacksonville. We had a tangerine tree and two kumquat trees.
Okay. I can't get into the kumquats.
And I'd take them with the orange peel, orange peel and all.
Right,
eat the whole thing.
Well, that's the way kumquats are supposed to be.
The whole thing, and they were great, but it's an acquired taste.
It is. It's that sour, that tart taste.
But people forget. We talk about the sweetness of oranges.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best Florida desserts you can think of is a sour orange pie.
Yes.
I know a restaurant in Cross Creek. I won't say the name, but there's a restaurant in Cross Creek that makes a sour orange pie that'll make you want to slap your mama.
Oh, I've had a grapefruit pie.
Oh, grapefruit pies are great.
God, it's fantastic. Yeah. And the guy would not give up his grandma's recipe.
No.
That's one of those things. And
there's a reason I put a Myers lemon in a grapefruit tree.
Yeah. and your sour oranges, and we had...
And is that a grafting thing, the sour oranges?
The sour oranges are the root stock.
Right, that's what I thought.
That's a root stock. That's why when somebody moves into a house and the house is already 15 years old and you're moving into the house now and it's got this fruit tree on it. Oh, but the fruit is sour. It's because that tree got froze at some point and has recome from below the root, below the graft. And beautiful tree. Fantastic fragrance of flowers.
And got
pest resistant, full of fruit that you can make tang, mojo sauce, marmalade. You're just not going to grab one and eat it.
No, but the marmalade you can make
Marmalades
from it is
are
amazing.
fantastic. Yeah.
And when did they start making orange marmalade that was sweet? It just aggravates me to death.
To get the people who didn't like tart marmalade.
Just
that was
Marmalade's supposed to have a little tang to it.
I would take fruit into Master Gardener friends, other people. Oh, I'm making marmalade or I'm making up mojo sauce. Hey, you need sour oranges? I got them. And we would actually even juice them and make tang.
If you want to find some great sour oranges, I go out in the forest.
Oh, yeah.
And you'll see those orange trees out in the forest. Well, nobody's taking care of those trees.
Well, but you know what? There's a good chance that they're sweet, unless they're on the outside of what used to be a grove.
Well, they're on the outside of groves. They're wild trees on the outside of groves that they weren't grafted or anything. They just grew from
they left the ungrafted trees so that as somebody pulled up on the side of the road stealing oranges,
they would steal sour oranges.
Yeah, and would keep 100%. Them from coming back or telling their friends.
100%.
I have a nice anecdotal story on that as one of those.
Well, tell the story.
Okay, well, we had surrounding the garden. We had several citrus trees.
Right.
And there was a rental property that backed onto the garden there. And a couple of the little kids were out there saying, "Hey, go ask your mama, can you have some oranges?" Okay. They go running. They come back. Yes, she said. So we hand them over half dozen nice tangerines.
Right.
So the next day, we find on the ground some half-peeled, like knife-peeled oranges thrown back over the fence. So, we know not to eat those ones over there because they're the sour ones.
They're the sour ones.
So more than likely what happened is that the kids, when Daddy got home, said, Daddy, look what we got. And the father's looking over the fence going, ooh, looky here. So sent the kid over the fence, grabbed some of the close ones so that you're not caught, and found out those were the sour trees. A couple of the most beautiful trees you'd ever see.
Right.
Just sour.
See, the exact opposite of a casino. Because you know, at a casino, when you
the
walk in
closer-
the front door, the closest slot
Is it-
machines are the ones that win.
Right, because
they wanna
nobody
bring
wants
you
to
into the
stop.
casino.
Right, because nobody's going to stop at that first one.
Right, they want to bring you into the casino. The sour orange trees are on the outside of a grove to keep
Right.
you out of the grove.
Yep. So always
didn't know that
ask if you know somebody who's got fruit trees or partially maybe a small group. Ask, because I'd have given them good fruit. Don't steal from me. You got your just desserts on that one.
Look there,
Just desserts there. Yep.
I like what you did there. I see what you did there.
Yeah,
I like
that's
what
it.
you did
That's
there.
it. Yeah, that came out easy. That was a smooth one.
Somebody asked me the other day to ask you this. I was asked Thursday to ask you this question: can an apple tree survive in Florida?
If you get the right ones, yes. There are 3 or 4 varieties that are bred for Florida or that will fruit here in Florida. They have low chill hours is what it is. And you need to plant 2 of them. One of 2 different kinds. In order to get fruit, you got to have the cross-pollination.
Oh, you got to have the cross-pollination.
You got to have it. You don't need it with citrus. Many new varieties on some of your other fruit trees, you don't need it, but you need it with the apples.
And what kind of apple trees can you grow in Florida?
You're looking at the Anna and the Dorset, which I think people are familiar with a golden Dorset.
Right.
And the Anna, I think you end up with sort of like a blushy type fruit. Einsheimer is an old variety that you don't find too often, but so usually you'll find the Anna and the Dorset, and I want to say the other one might be the Tropic Sweet, and hence the name Tropic in it,
Right.
that it has lower chill hours. If you try to do one of the other, say you mail order for one that might do in
You're
say,
not growing
Tennessee,
a Granny Smith or a
you're
Red
not
Delicious
gonna,
here.
Right. It's not going to happen. You've got to find ones with that 250, 300 chill hours requirement, probably more like a 3 or 350. I don't think you can
And
grow
what do you
them
mean
too
by
well.
chill hours?
That's the amount of hours below 40 degrees. And that's what puts them to sleep. So that then they will have a dormancy, and that they need that. And a lot of times our peach trees, you'll suddenly
Do
see
we
them.
get that many hours
We do.
in Marion County?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we've actually I mean, I'd have to go and look. We've probably already had.
I guess, yeah, because
Yeah,
we were
this year,
in
80,
41 degrees this morning, so I
Right.
bet we're probably 100 hours in
Yeah,
already.
we may already be. Yeah, so this year, should we warm up in, say, January, you might see a lot of our fruit trees flush. Suddenly, peaches and pears and things like that, where they've already had their hours, and then we start going, uh-oh, I hope it doesn't freeze.
Yeah,
Because
if
then you
they
lose all
freeze,
your
then
fruit.
lose it
Then you
all.
lose all your fruit.
I
on
remember
that.
our pear tree. We had a big pear tree. Now, when I say big pear tree,
Oh, they
I
get big.
mean
Yeah, they get big.
it probably had 6 or 7 limbs. You could climb this
Oh,
tree.
wow.
It was
Yeah,
big
big,
enough.
yeah.
And it would probably, I would say the rotten fruit that dropped off and hit the ground that we
Right.
couldn't eat was probably 100 pears.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
it
the
was
ones
a
that squirrels
massive,
would take the bite and throw.
Right, it was a
Yeah.
massive pear tree.
Yeah.
And it would grow, but
Oh, yeah.
in Jacksonville,
Yeah,
it would
was,
get
yeah.
warm and it would fruit.
Right.
And then Mom would say, go out there and clean that tree out.
Yeah.
And she'd
You'll get
start
'em, yeah.
canning pears and everything. Because
Right,
if you
right.
didn't, they would all be, you get it one
they
hard
get-
freeze,
yeah,
gone.
and
And they would die. I mean, it's not even something that's negotiable.
Right,
One
right.
hard freeze, dead.
Right. Yeah, you lose your fruit that's starting. But with our citrus, luckily, I know we're getting close there. With our citrus, they're going to be dormant. They've got fruit on them now. They should be getting ripe. People always, well, how do you tell they're ripe? Well, one hasn't changed color. Oh yeah,
Is
it's been colored.
Is it dark orange, not light orange or yellow looking?
And not even that.
Or green.
Take and does it have a little give?
Yeah.
And when you take, don't yank and pull and twist. If you got to do that, no, that's not ripe. You might have other ones on the tree that are, but if you take and tilt them and they
it
pop
pops
off,
off, it's ripe.
It's ripe. And it's the taste test after that. Is that good and sweet? It ought to be at that point.
Why don't we see? We got about 2 minutes left.
Yeah.
Why don't we see more banana trees in Florida? You would think with the tropics.
Yeah, but down South Florida we do, but up here because the temperatures, you need 18 months without that tree freezing.
Well, that ain't going to happen here.
It doesn't happen too often.
Right.
Protected locations in a microclimate, in a landscape, yes. And people get bananas on a regular basis. Just to try to do a commercial or even truck farm size, I think you need to get south
I had a friend 2 weeks ago that was making banana pie.
Okay.
And they were using natural bananas that come, well, they weren't the bananas that you're used to eating.
Oh, right,
they
right.
Actually had big, hard seeds in the middle of these bananas.
Oh.
Yeah. Had big, hard seeds in the middle of the banana.
Never.
Yep.
That's weird.
And they dug the seeds out and clink, clink, clink on the counter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Never saw
And I
that.
was like, what is that? They were like, it's a banana, but it's a natural banana tree. It hadn't been migrated over years and years to create the bananas we eat now.
Because I know bananas we had in our yard. They were short and squat. Yeah, they were kind of fat.
A little bitty.
But
Big.
but they were still just bananas.
Yeah. This looked like a banana until you opened it up.
Interesting.
So we're going to have to take a break. When we come back, we'll have more with Carol Ann Baldwin, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin, in the garden. 622-9622 is the number to call if you have any questions about your garden, your flowers, your grass, your trees, anything that you can grow outside. Carol Ann Baldwin, the Master Gardener, will help you find the answers. We'll be right back after this timeout. You're listening to In the Garden on a Tuesday morning on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. You're listening to WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
Republican Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky addressed the Senate Monday afternoon as his colleagues prepared to vote for the $900 billion coronavirus relief package and said that they are no better than the Socialist Democrats.
This bill is free money for everyone. Proponents don't care if you're fully employed or own your own house or own your own business. Free money for everyone, they cry. And yet, if free money were the answer, if money really grew on trees, why not give more free money? Why not give it out all the time?
The House voted 359 to 53 in favor of the relief bill, as did the Senate 91 to 6. The relief package will send a $600 direct stimulus payment to most Americans, along with a new round of subsidies for hard-hit businesses, restaurants, and theaters. In Monday Night Football, the Bengals beat the Steelers 27 to 17. This is USA Radio News.
Picture this. A shortage of fuel has closed your electric utility, or any disaster devastated your town. Your power is out. No lights, no news. That's why federal and state agencies urge you to have an emergency radio. You can get a free Dynamo World Band emergency radio. This powerful radio keeps you informed during any emergency. It doesn't even need batteries and comes with a hand-crank generator and super bright LED flashlight. The emergency radio includes the NOAA weather band, a long-range AM receiver, a high-sensitivity FM band, and even a USB jack to charge cell phones. The Dynamo Emergency Weather Band radio retails for almost $30, but Newsmax wants to make sure you get this radio. So check out the free offer for the emergency radio with Newsmax magazine. Go to gettheradio.com. That's gettheradio.com. Or call toll-free 800-NEWSMAX. That's 800-NEWSMAX. This radio could save your life. This offer may end soon, so order today.
It's time for Farmer Ranch headlines on the Southeast AgNet. I'm Tyron Spearman reporting. The American Peanut Council, located in Alexandria, Virginia, held their recent winter meeting and have announced their new officers for the coming year. They will be serving all across the entire industry for growers, buying points, shellers, manufacturers, and allied, all representing the peanut industry. John Wutak of Hormel Foods will be the new president. Carl Zimmer will be chairman-elect. He is with Premium Peanut. Secretary-Treasurer will be Collins McNeil from the broker company of MC McNeil & Company. Monty Rass of South Carolina Peanut Board will serve as past chairman. The chairman of the Export Committee promoting peanuts around the world will be Jamie Brown of Olam, and the chairman of the Peanut Foundation will be Jim Elder with the J.M. Smucker Company, makers of Jif peanut butter. The executive committee announced that they have gone their second round of interviews and are ready to announce a new CEO. Patrick Archer is retiring March the 1st after 33 years of service to the council. The council adopted a budget of about $753,000 and an export budget of $590,000.
Do you enjoy receiving all the news from the Southeast AgNet reports? There's another way to stay informed through our Southeast AgNet e-newsletter. Visit southeastagnet.com and click on the sign up for our Southeast AgNet e-newsletter delivered right to your inbox.
Here's farmer and businessman James Wood.
We farm about 3,500 acres. There's pipelines everywhere. The contractor working on my property did not have the lines located before he began work, and it resulted on a strike on a natural gas pipeline. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but it could have been much worse.
Never assume the location or depth of underground lines. Always call 811 or visit clickbeforeyoudig.com before you start work. A message from the Pipeline Operators for Ag Safety Campaign.
I'm Tyron Spearman for Southeast AgNet.
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Partly sunny today, high 69 to 72. Clear tonight, low 48 to 58. Then mostly sunny on Wednesday, high 75 to 79. Thunderstorms, some severe Thursday afternoon through late Thursday night with a high of 74 to 81. Mostly sunny Friday, high 57 to 60. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
Get inspired to take your next vacation close to home and experience Miami Beach. A paradise getaway only a drive away. Take in 7 miles of beautiful beach. Walk historic South Beach. Take in the art and culture. Stroll famous Lincoln Road and taste the international cuisine found in the city that offers a faraway feeling without the flight. Visit Miami Beach, a paradise getaway only a drive away. Learn more at Experience Miami Beach on Facebook and Instagram.
Just as the song says, it's In the Garden with Carol Ann Baldwin, Master Gardener, Carol Ann Baldwin. And she will tell you what to do.
Yeah.
Like she tells me, go to commercial break, come back from commercial break. You know, she'll tell you what to do. You know, there are people out there that believe that, too.
Oh, yeah.
You tell me, go to commercial.
Yeah, it's like I'm looking, my clock's fast over here, so it's like, no. He knows better than I do on this stuff, yeah.
We're talking about the crazy, crazy wintertime with plants in Florida.
Of Central Florida,
Is there anything you can do to stop the inevitable? And what I mean by that is, like, if you do have that warming trend for like 2.5, 3 weeks where plants think it's springtime.
Start to leaf out or
and
whatever.
And it's in January.
Yeah.
Is there anything you can do to stop that process? I mean, at the Augusta National, they have heaters and air conditioners underneath the plants.
Right, but for the homeowner, there's not really. Well, that's why when we have the cold weather, we don't touch it. When it dies back, when your perennials get hit, which perennials, annuals come up, go from seed, they get a plant, they flower, they make seed, they drop seed, they die. It's 1 year in that. Perennials do this every year.
Right.
It's the same plant that comes back. It's not that it's seed grown and it comes back. So it's meant to die back in the winter. It's not a shrub. So it's meant to be hit by the cold and go to sleep. It's not meant to be pretty year round. So our covering it just slows down the inevitable sleep time eventually for the plant. But when it does, if you're one of the ones who goes, you know what, I'm not covering it. If it can't survive, it can't survive. It doesn't belong in my garden. All the better. when they do get burnt from the cold, the best thing to do is not touch them. Put on your blinders, go la 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 when you walk through the yard so that you're not seeing the brown stalks, this and that. Now, if it has leaves that are going to fall off, you can take your hand and just and brush them off. But leave the dead twigs, because if you cut them all back, it went dormant now. I'll just cut them all back. Guess what? When we have those 2 or 3, 4 weeks that warm up, or we get a little warmer and our lows don't get quite as cold, guess what? They start to leaf out.
And then they die.
Then we get, boom, 32 degrees or below, and they get damaged even further down. That happens more than one time, and yeah, you might lose the plant completely. Something that would have been more of a hardier type plant. Even that kind of stuff happens.
Is for the layperson, is the time when your trees, like the oak trees right now, are losing leaves.
Oh yeah, the
wind blows and it looks like it's confetti,
and it's just raining down on you.
Is that a sign that trees went dormant?
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. And usually after the first couple frost, I normally say if you're going to do some stuff, because a lot of people want to go, well, when can I do the stuff on my hollies, or I want to move things? We still say January, February. So you got another few weeks, and that way you've had a couple good cold snaps that has set that plant, that tree, that shrub into the point of going, I'm not going to grow right now. I'm just going to sit here and hang out. I'm not going to take up fertilizer. I'm going to take up water just because I do. But I don't need to be fed.
Not a whole lot of photosynthesis going on.
Not a whole lot of anything. The days are short, so it's not producing a lot. It's just they're sustaining themselves through the winter months. When and the reason we say like January to February, if you think of our last expected frost date. Expected, not necessarily true, because we've had them as late as April, is March 15th. Count 6 weeks back, and you've got 1st of February.
Certainly.
And the reason we say 6 weeks is that when you trim something, when you prune something, it triggers, it's time to grow.
Right.
And if it's cool,
you cut the hair. Hair grows when it gets cut.
If the plant is not fully dormant, you cut it and it goes, guess what? It's time to grow. And so in about 4 to 6 weeks, you're going to see all kinds of new growth popping out on it. So we wait as long as we can so that new growth has less chance of being burnt by a late frost.
I asked the head greenskeeper at Ocala Golf Club. Crepe Myrtles. 2 years ago, they cut the Crepe Myrtles back.
Yeah.
And within about 6-7 weeks cutting the Crepe Myrtles back, they had bushed out like a chia pet. They weren't back the way we were, but they looked like a chia pet.
Right, just the top. Yeah, you got this ball of stuff.
And now they're hanging again. They've come back good. They're hanging like Crepe Myrtles do. So I asked him, I go, when are you planning on trimming the Crepe Myrtles? He said, first week of March.
Yeah.
And I go, because that's the frost area. He goes, yeah, they probably won't get froze. The chances of freezing after that are slim. So we're going
right.
And they're gonna. And I said, are you going to cut them bald again? He goes, yeah.
Yeah, and that's see, we in the field call that crepe murder.
Yeah.
But just because it's their way of controlling the size.
That's exactly what they're doing.
And that, but
because if they get too big, they get in the way of my golf shot. Okay, let's just clear that up.
There you go. But we usually on crepe myrtles, if you must prune them, is we always say like February, middle of February. So he's February 1st of March. Don't wait too long because they bloom on that new growth.
Right.
That's another reason why people think, I have to prune it, otherwise they won't bloom. Well, yes, they will, because they're going to put on new growth.
Crepe myrtles always bloom.
They always. I mean, if you have one that's not blooming, in the early part of the year, it could be that it's one of the later bloomers. Or it may need a shot of fertilizer, whatever. Stop using your weed and feed anywhere near them. But throughout the growing season, while they're blooming, and that when the flowers are fading, if you can get up in there and trim off that stuff, and the seed pods that are forming, your new growth comes on and it'll flush out again a little faster than if you just let nature do it. But to take, and we'll see it down 25th Avenue, 25th Avenue, everywhere. I have neighbors who've already cut theirs, and I'm going, really? So when that flushes out, when we have a couple warm weeks, guess what? You're apt to get some damage. You're apt to get some damage.
But his timeline of the 1st of March is within the window.
Within that window that you'll have your new growth. And like he said, you're less chance of having anything damaged.
Are there any trees or shrubs that are more susceptible to damage if you trim them back too early than are there some that are more hardy and can take the trim back early?
Well, that's where we go with like your true evergreens, your hollies, your ligustrums, your viburnums, things like that. Loropetalum might be a little softer just because it doesn't get quite as large as stems. It gets good-sized trunks, but the stems in that, those we can take and do some trimming, usually after at least the 1st of January. Mm-hmm. But again, that new growth is always a little bit sensitive, or it can be. Roses seem to not care, whether or not you prune them, especially like the knockout roses, which are ones that you're growing, as a mass planting kind of thing. When you see those growing, they're not your simple rose bush, because we think of roses as being pruned, or the dead canes taken out in the winter months so that in spring they're ready to flush. I would still be waiting till sometime good hardy into January, 1st of February, before I was going to do any serious type pruning, just because new growth can be sensitive to cold temperatures.
Speaking of cold temperatures, I know that we used to do this at Jacksonville all the time, and I know I've seen people in my neighborhood here do it before. On a hard freeze, mm-hmm. People think, I'll put the hose, because it's dripping anyway. I'll put the hose up in the top of the tree, and it'll create these great icicles.
Oh, it'll look cool. It looks cool.
How much harm is that doing to that tree?
That can be heavy. That can snap branches. It can be, especially trees here where they're not used to it. I mean, yes, it keeps the air, the tree at 32 degrees, but it's, because I had a neighbor did it one year. They actually put a sprinkler on, so it hit it a little, and it first made great icicles. It was gorgeous.
But aren't you damaging the tree?
You can be breaking branches, because just like up north, they have ice storms and just snap.
Branches fall.
They snap. It brings power lines down. So it wouldn't be something I would recommend. Ooh. And when the citrus trees, when you see them on the news covered in ice,
with the sprinklers,
they have misters.
Right.
That's a fine amount of water, and it's running all night long.
And that's to protect the tree.
That's to protect the tree and the fruit. Moreover, it's to protect the fruit, because they haven't gotten it all harvested. For us, if they're talking hard freeze and it's the end of December, 1st of January, February, your fruit's ripe, pick it.
Right.
Pick it. Bring it in. It's not going to hurt it. It won't ripen any further on the counter than what it'll ripen more on a tree. But on the counter, it's going to sit there and let you eat it.
Right.
Yeah. So
it may rot, but it's not going to ripen.
It's not going to ripen any further. It will just So go through, and I even like to take my clippers out and clip them until it reaches too high, and I have to get the picker out, and then you hope that the ones that it pulls the top out of. Guess what? You eat those first.
Right.
The other ones that you can reach, they're going to dry out. But the ones you can reach, if you can take your clip and just clip it right above the fruit, then you've got a nice sealed.
Leave that little stem. It's
leave that little stem. It's sealed up. It's good. So and they'll keep for weeks. Sitting on the counter. So it's not something that's going to go bad. It's not like berries. It's not like peaches, pears even. That'll go.
If you kick that, we as kids, we knew that. My next door neighbor, who was a green thumb, Mr. Britt, he always said, leave about a half inch to an inch of stem on the ones you could clip,
right?
Because that way they last longer.
Yeah,
and they can sit on the counter. You can get that orange.
And always
2 weeks from now
the picture with the little leaves on it.
Right.
That when you picture that in the fruit bowl and that painting on the wall, Well, there was a reason for that. It wasn't just to make the picture prettier. It helped the fruit stay.
It's like onions. I didn't realize for the longest time. I knew that there was 2 uses for nylon stockings.
Oh.
1, my mother wore them with high heels.
Right.
And 2, they hung in the pantry with onions in
With
them.
onions hanging. Because you could tie a knot between each one and just clip one up, and they had plenty of air, and they weren't touching.
Plenty of onion. They weren't touching, and they had plenty of air, so an onion would last forever.
Yeah.
Oranges last the same way. Not as long.
Right.
But they last the same way as long as you don't break that seal.
Right. Don't break that skin, and don't wash them when you bring them in the house.
Really?
Don't wash any fruit when you first bring it in the house. Unless you're going to eat it, let it, because you just take whatever's on the outside of that and force it into the fruit itself. So the best thing to do is you're going to pick a dozen. You got company coming over. Christmas is on Thursday, Friday. Friday. I got COVID calendar.
Or Thursday night at midnight.
Thursday night at midnight
Friday.
becomes Friday. You're going to have people coming over. You got the kids coming over. You're going to bring citrus in, and it's going to be eaten in the next week or so. Wash it. Go ahead and wash it. Put it in the bowl so that whoever takes one can go ahead and eat it. But if you're going to pick 3 dozen, and they're going to sit in that box and, on top of the washer while you have company and you're going to refill your bowl, don't wash those. Wash a few at a time. Use them. If you're going to juice them, obviously wash them before you juice them. You don't want dirt in your juice.
Carol Ann Baldwin, Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin here with In the Garden. 622-9622 is the number to call if you have questions for. You brought up power lines.
Yeah.
And tree limbs falling and hitting power lines.
Yeah. We have that issue in the summer months.
There's a big issue for me, and I understand it's got to happen. But when I see them come down the side of the road and they shave half a tree, or you see them where they've taken a big live oak and cut the center out of the live oak to create a V around the power lines.
Yeah.
That aggravates the hell out of me.
Yeah, and really if you have a landscape, if you have property that backs or fronts on power lines, don't plant your trees right on the fence to where they have to do that. It's that power line services way more than your house.
Right.
So you have to realize that they will come down the line and do that.
And trees you paid a lot of money for.
Right, exactly.
Gone.
So think about when you're making those selections, or even if, say, you're buying an existing property that has trees that are close, and you're looking and go, because they have been coming down the line this past week.
Yeah.
I saw them on 475, and they seem to be going a little further in than they were or previously.
It doesn't look like they're clearing the power lines. It looks like they're clearing the power lines
and the right of way
for growth for years to come.
And it could be in order to make it a little better during our hurricane season. Watch for vines that are going up your trees, because those get over and wrap around the power lines.
And they don't come and clip just vines.
No, they come through. They come through, and they have those vertical the saws on the arms that just go, and it's like, wow, that's kind of scary. And then the other guys are throwing it in the chute, and it's chipping up. And if you want to, you call those companies. They'll deliver you a truckload of mulch.
Yeah, because they'd rather dump it off in a yard on the street
yard,
they're doing.
Than have to pay to have it tipped. So you get a double whammy. But no, if you're planting and you have just a power line coming from the street into your house, don't plant trees near it. Stay 30 feet away from them. Oh, you don't have space on that side? Okay, plant on the other side so that you're not having that issue. Plant some shrubbery that stays under 8 or 10 feet tall. Why would you want to have to be the one to go clip it out? Because if it's between the street and your house, that's up to you.
Right.
So if that tree loses a branch, dies, falls on your line, you're paying the electrician to come out and reconnect your house, not the power company.
No. Once it gets to once the line goes from the power pole towards your house, you're responsible for that.
That's your responsibility there. So be aware of that if you're starting out with a blank slate. of what needs to be done, or if you're coming onto a property that already has some trees, you go, oh, look, that's a nice natural area back there. Well, how many trees are that close to that line or to your pole that may need serviced at some point?
Answer to the problem: bury the power lines.
That would, it's expensive, but it is doable. But you know what's funny is that my understanding is the villages have underground utilities, but their power went out during Irma, and in some areas for several days.
Yeah.
Because the stations got hit.
Right. Yeah, where I used to live off 80th, we have underground power lines.
Right.
But we were out for 9 days during Irma because the substation got hit.
Right. So you still can lose power. It's just the odds during the regular storms are lower.
Better.
That your odds of losing power. Like what was it the other night? I didn't even know it except sometime in the middle of the night I heard beep, which meant something in my house turned back on.
Right.
And I look and my clock's going. Flashy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, the power went out. Go back to sleep.
Yeah.
The phone is my alarm clock. So.
Let me ask, we got a few minutes left.
Sure.
We said that winter officially started yesterday, but
Correct.
the first full 24 hours
is today. Yeah.
Are there any plants that right now, because winter started, that this is the time you need to put them in the ground?
For us, we do, and we've discussed them before, is the pansies, petunias, snapdragons. All of those will tolerate our winters. Geraniums like our winters as well. They like that cooler, drier season.
Any kind of trees we can put in the ground right now?
If it's grown in a pot, you can put it in the ground. You can take it out of that pot and put it in the ground pretty much year-round for us. Just watch your water. If it's something a little more tender, I probably wouldn't put hibiscus, ixora, croton in the ground now unless you can really take care of it, especially this year.
But oak trees, dogwoods,
hollies, ligustrums, viburnums. I wouldn't have a problem putting something like that in.
Pine trees, we know you can put in the ground.
You can do those. You can do ornamental grasses. You realize that they're going to be brown, so you might not even find them in certain markets, just because they turn brown with the cold weather. You get them in the ground and get it established right now, or move them. Moving them, I would wait another month. Wait until that end of January maybe. Then you can move things. Say you had a shrub on the wrong side of the house, and if I move it over here, it's going to thrive better. Wait another month and go ahead and do it.
What about the live Christmas trees? Is that something? I know they can go right in the ground.
They can go right in the ground. I would enjoy them through the holiday at least.
Well, no, I know that, but
you can
Christmas
go
and
ahead
New Year's,
between Christmas. You could go ahead and put them in. Just make sure that you've been keeping them nice, well watered while they've been in the house, because that's a stress. Once you've undecorated them and you've taken them outside, make sure water them well. Get your area prepared for that, and go ahead and put them in. I
remember I had a neighbor lived about 4 doors down from us, the Taylors.
Okay.
And they had a live tree. It's the first time I'd ever seen somebody with a live tree.
Right.
They planted it. But this was back when tinsel was popular. So they planted their live tree with tinsel still on it.
With their shinies, yeah. Well, you can't get that stuff off of there.
No.
It's one of those, but now the birds and things like that will grab the tinsel off.
And that's not good for them.
Not good to eat it, but I think they can use it in the nests. You don't want your dogs and cats to get into it. So really, it's hard nowadays to find tinsel.
It is hard, very hard to find.
Because of that.
In the wrap version that you just wrap it around.
That's it, right, and you're not throwing it on. That they used to have and blow them to the top of the tree because you were too short to reach the top.
100%. I'm vertically challenged. I know what you're talking about.
But that. And even if you're recycling trees and things like that, you've had a fresh cut tree and you want to take it somewhere to have it recycled. They want no tinsel on it at all.
Right.
You got to pick all of that off, especially if they're going to use it at a wildlife park.
Right. You got to get all that tinsel off if you're going to throw it down for a bass bed or something.
Right, because it's otherwise it's a pollutant. You're throwing stuff in water or with animals that are not healthy.
We're speaking of animals, your cats and dogs around Christmas trees. My favorite meme of the Christmas season so far is you bring a tree in You decorate it. You put flashy things on it, and you don't. Then you get mad at me when I climb it.
Yeah.
That's why I drink, Karen.
Yeah.
And it's a cat with a bottle of whiskey next to it.
Or
Because
I know another one, and I realized I probably shouldn't.
For
say
some
that one on
reason,
the air.
cats want to get up in the center of the tree.
Well, they always like that high point, and the fragrance possibly of the tree, the shiny baubles on it, or the one. Another favorite I have is the dog there, and the family's carrying the tree, and the cat's over on the other side. Look, see, they're bringing me an indoor bathroom too.
Exactly.
That's
my
another.
cat. Thank goodness Bonnie.
Yeah.
Could care less about a Christmas tree.
Yeah, I keep wondering whether or not the cat I've got would, and it's like, yeah, never mind. I'll break out Mom's ceramic, and that way I'm honoring my mom, and and it's easy because after Christmas I take the two pieces and I wrap them back in their paper and put them back in their box in the back in my closet.
Bonnie does love the 2 live oaks and the water oak though, because she'll get up 60 feet in one of those live oaks.
Wow.
Just hanging out on one of those big limbs and just stretch out and sleep. That and the roof. She likes the roof too because it's warm.
And can see.
Caroline,
and they can see.
If people want to get more information, if they need to get in touch with you during the week because they missed
something on the show. They don't have time to call. Look us up on In the Garden on the Facebook group page. Ask to be a member, and we'll join in here with the holidays and such. I may not be around at work too much, but hey, find me after the first of the year down in the Lady Lake Lowe's.
Lady Lake Lowe's, or In the Garden on Facebook.
In the Garden on the Facebook page.
Ask to be a member.
Ask to be a member. Ask to join. It is a
you're
group
not a
page.
psycho, she'll let
and
you
you're
on.
not trying to sell sunglasses and things like that. If you're advertising your garden club events,
people would try to sell things on your page, Carolyn.
Anybody would try
to. Wow.
It's one of those kind of things you never know. But I hope everybody has a great Christmas, Happy New Year. Well, we should be before the New Year ends. We got one more for this year.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I will not see
Happy
you again
Hanukkah to our friends.
Exactly. Kwanzaa. Hey.
Kwanzaa's
and to
Kwanzaa's
George
Saturday.
Costanza and the rest of us, Happy Festivus.
Yep, Festivus for the rest of us. It's all the hell.
McDonald's has got a commercial out right now where it's doing Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and everything, and it's showing all the different meals for all the different holidays. Then it's got hot cocoa, and it puts a metal pole in it that says, for George Costanza and the rest of you.
There you go. There you go.
Carol Baldwin, In the Garden, every Tuesday right here on WOCA. The Source, you're listening to 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. We're coming up, Matt Gibbs. He's, I never remember it. It's auto repair with personal care. I think I got it. Thanks, Carol Ann, for helping me out there.
You're welcome, Tom.
He's up next right here on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA.